Alright, hello YouTube. Let's do a little bit more challenging drive today. Let's see if we can get this thing to take us to Boston Logan Airport. Directions to Boston Logan. Pulling up the navigation. Looks like we're ready. Alright. This will surely be a little bit more challenging of a drive than what I have shown you guys before. It's a little bit later than I normally go. It's 10:50 a.m. So right here there might be an intervention the car needs to get over. This is actually a 2-lane road. Alright, it's doing it. Kind of doing it. That was sloppy. It's really bad on this one road. It's a 2-lane road, but this car wants to drive right down the center. It does move over when there's another car, so it did do that, which is good. Alright, you should have it. Go. It's awful cautious, which is not a bad thing. Alright, so if you guys have watched many of my videos, you know that this particular intersection up here is sometimes challenging. It has to really kind of creep up to it to really get to where it can see out into the road. I'm usually quite nervous here when there's a lot of traffic. There's nobody behind me today, but like it's not even close to far enough. I can't see, so I know it can't see. All right, I'm gonna give it a little accelerator. There's a car right there, and we can easily beat it. All right, we can call that an intervention if we want. It would have done it on its own, but I didn't want to wait, so I gave it some accelerator and let it do the steering. All right. So our trip to the airport will involve kind of getting through town. We're starting from Framingham, Massachusetts. Getting through town's probably not going to be too hard this time of day. There might be a lot of holiday traffic up around the mall. We'll just have to see. Looks like it wants to change lanes. It's a good call to get that done soon. One setting that I almost always set is minimal lane changes. I actually haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that now, actually, because I just don't like the way it constantly changes lanes. So it's just one setting right here in your autopilot section, minimal lane changes. I prefer that. If I needed to change lanes more, I can give it the blinker and it kind of picks up, oh, I should change lanes now. Got a pretty nice Model S up here. Apparently this guy's a Northeastern University student. This area has kind of become Tesla central. There are Teslas everywhere these days. So this kind of stop and go traffic, FSD is a solved problem. It's I mean, well, it's not much to it, right? Just kind of sitting in traffic, but you can kind of space out, look at your phone. You shouldn't do that. You agree not to do that, but I'm saying you kind of can in stop and go traffic. It's really not going to run into the car in front of you or anything like that. The one downside with going on long trips and making these videos is I can't turn the radio on because I'll get flagged for a copyright violation. So that means you guys either have to listen to me narrate and kind of aimlessly talk about Tesla and FSD, or long periods of silence. But you're probably actually here mostly to see how the car performs. Looks like once we get past this section, it should clear up a little bit. Let's see, where's this thing going to the highway at? We're gonna try to go that way, huh? Well, I'm I'm going to follow its nav and just see how it goes. That's not the way I would prefer to go, but let's see how it does. We will definitely need to get back in the other lane up here to make the turn with the clover leaf. But we have a couple miles, really. About a mile. Model S is a good looking car. To me, I like the way it looks in the back. It's just a little bit longer than the 3. It looks like it's a little wider, a little tougher looking stance. There's actually I don't know if you guys can see it from that camera, but over there at the red light coming back at us, there's another Model 3, white one just like we're in. It'll be headed this way. It's past breakfast time, so no coffee today, guys. Just a glass of water, a bottle of water. All right. This guy's got his butt sticking on the road a little bit. Let's see how the car does. Good. Didn't hesitate. Very well. Good job. So like I said, we do need to get back over at some point. I'm not sure how this car is gonna work this. Maybe we'll do it ahead of this truck. Yeah, if that Model S will go ahead and go and get ahead of him, we'll probably get over in front of this truck. There we go. Alright, let's see if it picks its own lane. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to give it any hints. Ideally, it should be getting over. Hey, good job. Very nice. Yeah, that was solid. Very solid. Alright, so now we're going to exit to the right and go up into this clover leaf. Let's see how it handles this. There's the truck behind me is giving me enough space. No blinker, so that's kind of not good. No blinker at the very end. Alright, we made that. So it was fine. The only thing that was not quite right was the blinker. But very human-like, right? I mean, a human will show you the blinker right as they're making the turn. So that's kind of consistent with how people drive around here. Alright, so now we're going to make this kind of wide turn. We've got a kind of wide, or you can see it on the map, we're going to kind of hairpin turn back around. Should be pretty easy. I guess we'll see how it merges up here with traffic. If this is your first time riding with me, I have a simple rule. I will use FSD until I am in the way of other humans or about to annoy people, and then I take over and drive my car like a responsible person should do. This is beta software. I say this in every video. This is beta software, and we agreed to be beta testers. Well, we're going to take it. Good job. That was good. Like, it didn't hesitate at all. Very proud of this car right there. That was solid. That's good. I expected it to like pause and wait. It was going to annoy the people behind me because it was clear that you could make it. So yeah, that was very good. Handled that flawlessly, actually. All right, so we should be getting in this lane. We don't need a blinker here. Oh boy, what are we doing? Don't turn there. All right, that's it was kind of getting confused, but it ultimately figured it out. I thought it was going to try to turn and go back the way we were coming from, but it figured it out. All right, there's a green arrow here. It's coming in pretty hot, but I had the green arrow. It took it. Perfect. This is good, man. We're going to get all the way out of town without hardly any interventions. So far, the only intervention, if you want to call it that, when we were first coming out to Route 9, the main road area, I gave it a little accelerator to get it out in front of the car. I could have easily just sat there and waited for that car to pass, and we would have come in after him. So there, technically it was an intervention, but I certainly didn't have to. I have zero qualms about intervening. Like I was just saying, it's this is still beta software. It's really impressive, but be that as it may, I have a steering wheel in front of me and a brake and an accelerator below my feet. Why would I not use it when I need to, right? I'm not sitting in an actual robo-taxi with no steering wheel. You know, I'm testing the technology that is eventually going to do that for sure. But right now today, this is beta software, and it's super cool to play with and use. But you know, I use words like play with. This is not a toy, by the way. This is a car. You know, people get hurt when you do things wrong. So I will, you know, when I make these videos, I try to push it to the limit a little bit of how far I can go before I start annoying people, or you know, just letting the car figure things out. When I'm not making these videos, I drive an FSD all the time, but I drive very differently. I've seen Chris over at Dirty Tesla and Omar from Hallmark's catalog both put out videos over the last year about how they actually drive an FSD, and I'll probably do something similar at some point. I find it to be super useful to drive around in it, especially knowing that I can just take over whenever I want to. So I'll keep it in FSD, and then when I come up to an intersection where I know it's going to perform not ideal, I'll just take it right out and I'll drive it. It's not a big deal. And that's the other thing, like as you start logging a few hours driving around an FSD, you get very good at predicting how it's going to behave. Now to be fair, I've only ever had one version of FSD. This is 11.4.4, and I'm sure that as you get new versions, like when version 12 comes out, it'll probably be different. So we're given a good bit of space with this car in front of us. This is probably going to annoy people behind me, but I'm not going to give it accelerator yet. I consider this acceptable driving. You know, around here people are usually crammed up each other's tailpipes a little more than that, but it is what it is. All right. So a little bit more traffic to get through this red light probably, and then we'll take the exit ramp up here and get onto the highway, and then it'll be highway driving for quite a ways until we get down into the Boston tunnels. Yeah, we'll get it up into the airport and see where it goes, and then we'll route it back home. Also, if this is your first video, anytime this blue line is on the screen, this car has pretty much full control. You'll see it blink blue or give a little message down here that just tells me that I have to kind of apply some turning force to it once in a while. I have to turn it pretty hard to take it out of FSD. I can also give it accelerator to kind of nudge it along and make it go faster. That is probably how I intervene more often than anything else, is nudging it like that. This car's probably going to try to jump out. No, he didn't. All right, so we're accelerating up, taking the ramp. I know at the top of this ramp we lose a lot of the white lines and stuff, so we'll see how the car does. One thing I've noticed, whenever the car is getting confused, it just starts throwing blinkers. It's like, if I'm confused, then everybody around me is going to be confused too. These are all really minor bugs. I am sometimes critical of it, but I'm super excited about this technology. You know, my critique of it is, honestly, I give, you know, whenever I disengage it, I give Tesla feedback because I want to see them improve it. All right, so this is gonna be an interesting merge. We got a dairy truck or something over here, gas truck or something, merging in at the same time. We need to get over a lane. Let's do it. So this is a 2-lane ramp merge down. I am ready to intervene at any time if I need to, because there's traffic around me. That means other humans could be annoyed. Nothing yet. Not doing anything yet. Give it a little accelerator just to kind of nudge it along. So it would have been fine. There's nobody really behind me. I didn't need to do that. Actually, that's just me being an impatient human driver, honestly. All right, so we're going to come merging into the highway. See how it handles this. I need to bump the speed up, so let it go. Boston level speeds. So we are merged onto the highway. go fast. So if this is your first video, like I said, the blue line is basically the route finder for the car. When that's on, the car has full control. You'll see me reach up and touch this knob. This lets me adjust how fast it can go. I don't know how good the zoom is from the camera, but my current speed is 56. The speed limit is 65, and the max the car will go is 72 right now. This changes the max. If I switch it up like that, the max is now 75. It'll bump it back down to 70. Our issue right now is actually that we're just kind of tailgating the guy in front of us and going slow. And this is probably because I have put it on minimal lane changes. And now we're about to be presented with an interesting issue because we have merging traffic. I'm not going to be able to lane change over, so let's see how the car handles this. We're going to have to let these guys merge, which means we're going to have to slow down and let them in. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was actually pretty smooth. Honestly, that was really smooth. Very smooth. It would probably be better if we were in the other lane. So when this next car passes, I'm going to give it a blinker to tell it to get in the next lane. That way we can just drive a little faster. Perfect. So in my opinion, highway driving is where FSD really shines. It's also where you got to be the most careful, right? This is a robot driving now. This car is in control at 70 miles an hour down the highway. It feels super safe, and I think it is super safe. But I am hyper diligent. I can't stress this enough to you guys that are going to buy Teslas and start playing with FSD. Treat it responsibly. This is really cool technology, but you see videos of people online like asleep at the wheel when they're driving. They've got like little weights hanging on the steering wheel to trick it. These people are stupid. I'm not even going to mince words. They are just stupid. It's like they don't even value their own lives. It's absurd to me. Well, anyway, I'm not going to rant about it the whole way. But for those of you out there that have FSD, remember, you're in charge of the car, and take over when you need to. There is no shame whatsoever in driving your car and using the accelerator, turning the steering wheel like we've done since we were teenagers. So, we're a couple years out, and this is going to be, there's going to be robo-taxis. I will tell you this, though. I was down in downtown Boston the other night, meeting some coworkers for happy hour drinks at rush hour at the same time that there was a Celtics game. There is zero chance that a robo-taxi can handle that scenario. There's just no chance, because in order for you to navigate that situation as a human, you actually have to intentionally pull out in front of cars, knowing that the human's going to stop when you pull out, because they're just not going to let you out. It's total mayhem in downtown Boston, and I'm sure lots of major cities are similar to that in rush hour. I'm guessing that solving those specific kinds of scenarios might not really happen until there's enough actual autonomous vehicles where the other autonomous vehicles play nice and kind of let you out like they're supposed to. Suburban traffic, freeway traffic, stuff like that. Gosh, guys, we're really close. We've already navigated pretty good ways from my house now, and at this point, we're going to probably make it to the airport. We'll see if we make it with no interventions. I know I've given an accelerator twice. In neither scenario that I actually have to, it would have been fine without it. I just nudged it along. So if this was an actual robo-taxi ride, it's another Model 3. If it was an actual robo-taxi ride so far, it would be performing flawlessly. And this isn't heavy traffic or anything like that, but there is traffic. Looks like we have another Model S coming up behind us. Sure how they'll roll out robo-taxis. I know a lot of people truly general purpose robo-taxis? I don't think so. I think from a sheer liability point of view that they are probably going to do some sort of geofencing. The benefit is that the way these cars work versus like Google Waymo that have to have these HD LiDAR maps is that they'll be able to scale the geofencing region that they operate in a lot faster. But I'm pretty sure that they will do some sort of geofencing, or even if it's not geofence, like with all the video data they should know where it needs the least amount of interventions from humans and just try to choose those kinds of routes. All right, so we're coming in about 60 miles an hour here with merging traffic. Shouldn't be an issue. This guy's. All right, so I am giving a little accelerator now. The car was stuck out a little much. I'm going to give it back control. I did intervene with the accelerator, but I didn't necessarily have to again. I saw this guy's blinker. He was going to jump over. I also saw him turn it off. It's almost like a human intuition. Like, he thought he was coming over. As soon as he knew that he couldn't get over, I knew he wasn't going to. He knew he wasn't going to. So I knew I could keep going. But again, had I not been sitting here with the steering wheel of the accelerator pedal, there would have been no accident. The car would have slowed down. The people behind me might have been a little annoyed at how far I slowed down. But there wouldn't have been an accident, that's for sure. So the speed limit in this section of the highway is 55. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody drive 55 in here. Although the person in front of me is doing 58, so. Saturday morning, and I try to figure out where I'm going to go, have the car drive me for the day to put out videos for you guys. So if you guys have suggestions or ideas, things that you would like to see me try to navigate with it, put them in the comment section. I live in Massachusetts in the Framingham area, so I'm kind of centralized. I can go pretty much anywhere around. I am probably not going to try to do a downtown Boston rush hour video, although I don't know, maybe it's worth showing you guys the full limitations of it. I know there's some guys that have been doing videos like downtown New York in rush hour. I assure you Boston is worse. New York's at least a grid, so you can have an idea where you're going. In Boston, the roads are just crisscrossing all over the place, and it's confusing. Like, even for people that live here, it's confusing. I don't come into the city all the time. I don't work inside the city anymore like I used to. So things change. It's a fast-growing city. The roads are changing. They're not on a square grid, and it's just confusing. So maybe it is worth some time, like getting down in that part of Boston, just kind of showing what the limitations currently are. I try to be very real about it. Like I say in every video, I am a Tesla fanboy. I'm also a Tesla investor, so I have some bias, but part of being a good investor is understanding what you're investing in. So I spent a lot of time driving an FSD, learning the ins and outs of how this thing works. I'm pretty sure they're going to unlock this in the next couple of years. I mean, it's close. Right now, this thing is, would have easily gotten me from home to here with no interventions. I have intervened with the accelerator, but whatever. Guys, it's going to be an exciting future to live in. 5 years from now, you might be able to call an Uber that's just a robo-taxi that can take you to the airport. Have one show up and pick you up when you're ready to go home. The dynamics of what the world looks like downstream of truly autonomous vehicles. I think things will change really fast. And when I say really fast, I mean really fast in like human timescales fast. Like 10 years is really fast change. So if 10 years from now, I think within 10 years from now, we're going to start seeing that way less people own cars. If you have the option of calling up a robo-taxi anytime you need, and it's showing up and driving you mostly wherever you need to go, car ownership will go down. It's not going to drop as fast as some people predict, because old habits die hard. I mean, I own this car. I like owning a car. I don't feel compelled to necessarily have a robo-taxi. But I'm also a little bit further along in life, a little more settled financially than people just getting started out. You know, I remember when I was fresh out of college, fresh out of grad school, living in an apartment, you know, scraping by, you know, trying to make payments on my apartment and my Pathfinder at the time. In that kind of world, to have not had a car payment, I could have gotten ahead financially a lot faster. There's a Tesla taxi for you, an actual taxi. Yeah, cool. Here we have a tale of two robo-taxis. One's an actual taxi. I wonder if he's using FSD on his taxi, or if he even has it. Alright, so I am going to nudge it into this lane next to me. This car passes. Pass. There's another Tesla coming up behind me. If you're using full self-driving, you find that it is changing lanes too often and making you uncomfortable, just remember that option I showed you earlier. Go into your car menu, autopilot, and then click minimal lane changes. For me, it's a lot better experience. I prefer to be able to know I'm going to have it in the right lane before it gets there. The car will do things like, oh, we're going too slow, and it'll try to drive around people, which is fine. But I have found that it doesn't always get back in the right lane in time to make the exit. I sometimes have to take over and, you know, do a human intervention where I like actually merge into traffic and avoid people. So minimal lane changes makes it, I don't know, it makes it feel safer. It may not actually be safer. The car is. I don't think this car will run into anything. You know, the first few times I used FSD, when it would turn corners, I was like white knuckling, like really scared that it was going to crash into the car or something. It never does. I'm obviously not going to fully test that theory out because I don't want to wreck my wife's car, have insurance go up. But I think this car is going to be pretty safe. You've heard me say this in almost every video. My biggest gripes at this point in time are just getting it to behave more human-like, so we don't confuse the human drivers around us. That's it. You know, if it can just get a little bit smoother in turns, you know, once it's decided to take the turn, if it can go ahead and be a little more assertive and just go through with it, and make the turn and go. Alright, so we should be going off to the right here. Go off to the left, we're going to Cambridge, Massachusetts, but we are headed into Boston. We're going to go through the tunnel system and come up into the airport. But we still have a few miles. And another Tesla. You guys remember growing up and playing Slug Bug? Every time you saw a Volkswagen Beetle? It's something me and my sister used to do when we were younger. Well, if you did that with Teslas, you'd have a pretty sore shoulder these days. They're everywhere. Turning without you doing it, you adapt to it pretty quickly. But again, just be responsible with it when you get it. I know I sound like your dad. Be responsible, whatever. But seriously, guys, be responsible with it. You know, when people abuse this technology, it makes it harder for Tesla to operate. You know, they get dinged by the National Highway Safety Transportation Authority and other agencies, and it just slows down their progress. If we treat this like the beta software it is, and we give them good test feedback, they can iterate faster on this and train their neural networks better. So, drive FSD responsibly. Do not be scared to take over and control your car. There's no points for navigating all the way wherever you're going without touching the wheel or the pedals. We don't get a trophy. There's nothing at the end of the drive if you do it. It's cool when it does it. When you get zero intervention drives, it's really cool. We're doing really good on this one so far. Actually have somebody that's been following me most of the way, who's been very patient, and that's making this a pleasant drive. A lot of times people will just be crammed right up your butt. I don't know what we're slowing down here for. I was about to intervene with the accelerator, but I didn't have to. I don't know why it slowed down that much. Alright, so we hit the tunnel system. I need sunglasses for now. Is taking us to arrivals, departures, parking garage, or where we're going when we get there. So I should probably check that out. I still got a ways to go. As you guys can tell, I usually just rest my hand on the steering wheel. There's no real reason not to. It's the most comfortable spot for my hand to go. I can keep it on my knee, but then I still have to touch it once in a while. Speed limit slow down to 45. I'm going to bump it up a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Up to like 55%. We actually got a Tesla following us. I bet he's using FSD because he actually slowed down to 45 with me. And most humans don't know that the speed limit changes. They just keep right on trucking. So I bet the guy behind me is also using FSD. What that horn? I think that might have been that bus. I don't know if you guys heard that horn. That bus up there. Tesla's going to pass us now, I think. Maybe it's going somewhere else. I don't think they were in FSD. Alright, so it was kind of phantom braking, so I definitely gave it a little accelerator there. Phantom braking might have been overplaying it a little bit. Full self-driving may be degraded, poor GPS accuracy. Alright, well, let's see where... Oh, but I think we want to stay straight. We're going to go that way. Alright, well, let's do it. Let it navigate this way. I don't think I would have gone this way, but here we are. Alright, so let's do this. We're here. We're basically at the airport now. I'm going to end the trip, and I'm going to tell it to navigate back home. So this will be interesting, because in this area up here, this is some confusing stuff that we're going to probably have to do to figure out how to get out of here, and we'll see how it does. And just look what we're about to do. Just twisting all around it. Actually, it's not that bad. I should have gone further up. So this won't be too bad, actually. What are you doing, car? That's a red light. No turn on red, it says. I think we should stop. So it basically got us to the airport. If I kept going straight, where it took that last merge off to the right, we would have wanted to keep going straight to get to arrivals, departures. Given a little accelerator to nudge it through this turn because there's a car behind me. I didn't want that guy to have to miss the turn like I did. Been in this section of the airport road, so I don't. I'm kind of glad the navigator knows what it's doing, because I definitely don't. Looks like we're going to turn here. Okay. Alright. Speed limit is 25 through here, it says. Make sure we stop at the stoplight with the cop sitting there. So actually, it wasn't quite that confusing to get back to the tunnels, guys. Honestly, car's creeping forward for visibility, but we should not turn in front of this cop. Don't make me intervene. Don't make me intervene. Don't make me intervene. We're doing it. All right, well, we did it. It didn't say no right on red there. This is pretty sloppy turn here between the two lanes, but there wasn't anybody behind me, so I let it do its thing. Alright, we got some road construction kind of on the side, trying to merge back onto the major highway. Thankfully, cars are going kind of slow, so we should be able to merge in pretty easily here. There you go. It's really cautious, but you know, I'd rather it be really cautious than really dangerous. Honestly. It's really cautious. I think it's the road construction, and also we need to. This lane is going to come to an end. It needs to shift over. I appreciate you shifting a little sooner. It did it though. It just kind of followed until the lane ran out, and then it just kind of forced to shift over. This lane's also going to end in 500 feet, so it's just going to stay here. All right, that's fine. So if you guys have any ideas where you would like to see me try to navigate, if you know this area, if you're from the area, even if you're not from the area, if you just have certain situations that you think you would like to see how it performs in, leave a comment down below, and I will try to make a video putting the car in one of those situations. We're about 24 miles back out. We'll be back home. Probably be just in time to pick up my beautiful wife and take her to lunch. It says the speed limit in here is 30. I'm not even sure cars in the city of Boston go 30 miles an hour. People are always speeding a little faster than that. Self-driving may be degraded. Poor GPS location accuracy. I'm pretty sure that has no bearing whatsoever on this car's ability to not run into objects, but probably navigating probably throws it off some. But right here in this break in these two tunnels, it's going to pick the signal back up and then be fine. So I'm taking over for a second, guys. I need to get this thing in the right lane so we don't go the wrong way. Okay. So it had very bad lane choice there. I did not want to get stuck there and get routed way the wrong way. So we had an intervention coming home. That was a legit. I had to intervene because the car was definitely going to go the wrong way. Like it just told us, it had poor GPS, and so the navigation wasn't good. To be fair, it was not good. Something other than just driving to where I'm going, and they get a little impatient. But I get it, man. Like, when we're just out driving, we're like have things to take care of. Some Sunday driver in front of you driving slow, and you're just trying to get where you're going. So I try not to be that guy. The robo-taxi world that we're eventually going to live in is going to be like that, though, because they're going to all drive the speed limit. They're going to all come to complete stops at stop signs, and there's going to be this weirdness when there's like robo-taxis and human drivers during that period where humans are just annoyed at how safe the robo-taxis are. Insurance companies, however, are going to love the robo-taxis because they're not going to get in wrecks. Or they're probably not going to cause the wrecks. Other people may run into them. To be fair though, like if you're going on the highway and I use the brakes right now, and somebody runs into the back of me, it is technically their fault. For sure, you can say, well, you caused it because you slammed on the brakes. Yeah, but they're supposed to give you, what, 3 car lengths between you? So, humans are not great drivers. There was a Model Y cruising past us. Just back up so everybody can see it. You can see all the road construction stuff showing up on the screen. Can't see the people on the bridge though. Would have been cool if it showed that. So I mean, this car does such a great job of just staying between the lanes really, really well. A friend of mine on Facebook was watching one of my videos, and he's like, he's not completely sold yet. He's like, well, I could definitely see how that would be useful if you were if you were really fatigued or inebriated. And I'm like, yeah, actually, in both of those scenarios, it probably does help you a little bit. Obviously, you should never drink and drive. But if you were a little bit inebriated and you had an FSD, it would probably keep you from getting pulled over and getting a ticket, because most humans will bounce between the lines. Even when you're sober, we tend to bounce between the lines. And if you pay attention, this car is like straight in the middle, and it stays there. It's another Model Y. Teslas everywhere. I think I'm done with the tunnels. Put my glasses back on. The other thing, when I'm at FSD, I'm way less likely to get a ticket. I don't typically drive 55 miles an hour through here. I'm like every other driver around Boston. I'm driving fast, trying to get ahead of people, and when I use FSD, I'm way more chill. I'm just like, yeah, it's a relaxing trip. Of course, I'm making YouTube videos, and I'm distracted, chatting with the audience that will eventually watch this video, you guys. But yeah, I'm actually of the opinion at this point that right now today on the highway, FSD is safer than humans in most cases. And you know, I think probably what I would hammer home was something that Elon said. Human-assisted FSD. So me sitting here with FSD and I'm also watching, this makes you extremely safe. Extremely safe. It's like, you know, you have your brain, a central processing unit, and your two cameras, your eyeballs, and accessory to that are the 8 cameras and the neural networks, you know, the inference, you know, computers in this car. So you are significantly safer. You know, a lot of people don't care about that. They're more interested in how fun the cars are to drive, and boy, are these cars fun to drive, guys. Like, they're so freaking fast. All right, blue truck, why don't you take it? So what do you guys think? You know, some of you now, I think I'm up to almost 60 followers. I'm really kind of surprised that I would get that much traction putting out these videos. But I'm really curious, like, what do you guys think? What's your opinion of the status of FSD at this point? You know, you've seen the videos I put out. Hopefully, if you're diving down this rabbit hole, you have found you know, the Dirty Tesla channel and the Whole Mars Catalog channel. Those guys are some of the OGs doing this. There's a few other channels, I'm forgetting the names of them. But there's a number of us out there doing this now. A lot of the guys are based out in the California area, and I'm one of the East Coast guys doing it. But what's your opinion of it? You know, what are your concerns? Are you excited about it? You know, when do you think that we'll actually do robo-taxis? You think that we'll do robo-taxis in you know, next year? Do you think they'll have any of them, or do you think it's a little further out? Just kind of curious what your guys' thoughts are. I put out these videos, I just kind of chat and give you my thoughts on it, but I actually really am curious what other people think. I know what all the Tesla fanboys think. We all, you know, most of us are investors, and most of us have FSD in our cars, and we think it's really cool. But I'm definitely curious to hear what the skeptics think, and you know, even the haters per se. I don't fully understand why anybody would just hate on new technology unless it's. I will say this: I certainly understand hating on the people that use it inappropriately. I've seen guys putting out channels, like, putting it in really dangerous situations and making it sound like the car is awful, like it's trying to mow down humans or something. Nothing could be further from the truth. The guy's just a jerk putting it in really bad situations that he shouldn't be putting it in, because there's just no reason to. It's not fully ready for that yet. I mean, I guess there is some value in knowing what it can and can't do, but actually there's a lot of value in that. But once you know, you know. Alright, we give it a little more speed. It's really kind of cruising through here pretty slow. Hanging out the granny lane. Safe with it on the highway. I didn't the first few times out because it's a robot. And, you know, it's not like I can just talk to this robot. Well, I kind of can. I can give it directions. Ask it to take me places. actually also been kind of impressed with where some of the viewers of this channel and the commenters have come from. People from Italy, people from India, China. I mean, it's the internet, it's obviously global. Just kind of curious the people that show up to the channel and want to watch FSD. Before I had a Tesla, I spent lots of time watching other channels on FSD. So I guess I'm not that surprised, but yeah, it's kind of interesting for me. I don't think there's any real chance of trying to monetize the channel. I'm not really interested in that. It just gives me an excuse to go out and, drive around on FSD and make videos, and the feedback I get from you guys kind of motivates me to do it more. So my once a week FSD and chat video. And maybe someday I'll actually have my Cybertruck pre-order come through. Yeah. Super excited to start seeing some Cybertrucks on the road. I did go to the Boston showroom the day that the Cybertruck arrived. This is before the release event. And if you actually check the shorts on my playlist, you'll see some pictures of it. It's really cool looking in person. I know a lot of people, oh, it's just so ugly, and it is ugly. I mean, it's so different that it's cool to me. Ugly is a relative word. I mean, it doesn't look like a regular truck, that's for sure. But I think it's going to sell like gangbusters. I think because it's so controversial and that it was such an anticipated vehicle, that I think if Tesla can be true to their mission and actually ramp up manufacturing to 250 to 500,000 units per year and drive the cost down, I think that the truck will be widely adopted. Much to the dismay of the people that hate on it. That's the world we live in. I never really understood hating on other vehicles. Like, whatever, that dude wants to drive a Chevy and that guy wants to drive a Ford. I want to drive a Cybertruck. And before somebody says, "Oh, you don't have a need for a Cybertruck," yeah, I do. Right? Having an all-wheel drive vehicle on 35-inch tires, we get we will get 36 inches of snow every few years around here. And having a vehicle with 35-inch tires, like my Jeep, is definitely better for getting around in the snow and ice. And yeah, we have ice trucks and plows and stuff that keep the roads pretty clean. But in those early hours when your road's not clean, and having an all-wheel vehicle, I do a lot of home repairs and maintenance and stuff, so I will definitely use the pickup truck. I'm not a contractor. I'm a software engineer, so I don't need it for my day-to-day work. But I do projects around my house. I'll go to Home Depot, buy plywood, 2x4s, electrical wiring, whatever I need, to do the project at home. So the truck will definitely get used as a truck. I use my Jeep now for a lot of that, and it's inadequate for some of it. I can't really get a sheet of plywood in my Jeep. Looks like they're doing something over here. I didn't know about this road construction project. Building a new exit ramp or something. If you guys have any questions about the car, feel free to ask. The comment section's got bouncing over here pretty hard. But like I said, humans, like you can see him, he's like bouncing between the lines going down the road. This car is just straight and narrow, right down the center. relaxing to drive on the highway with FSD. So I've never had a car with like adaptive cruise control where it would hold us distance. I know that's technology that's been around for a while. I've just never driven in a car with it. I suspect it feels similar. When this car is changing lanes all the time, it definitely makes me more nervous. But having it just kind of hold the lane, keep this distance between the cars, it just makes it a really chill, kind of relaxing drive. Because I know the car's watching all the time. I know if somebody bounces over my lane, this car will start shifting over. I know if that guy slams on the brakes, this car's got 3 cameras looking at it that's going to notice it and register before my eyes or brain do. So it gives you the ability to kind of relax a little bit while you're driving in heavier traffic. You can't relax totally, but you know, if you've ever driven in heavy traffic, and most of you have, sometimes it's a white knuckle experience. You can be on the highway driving 70, 80 miles an hour, tailgate to tailgate. We don't have to drive like that. This car is not going to drive like that. You see the distance it's giving. And this is on the standard mode. I had it on assertive for a long time. I think the assertive combined with lane changing was too much. So I just leave it on standard. I don't notice a lot of difference between chill and standard. Maybe the distance between the cars some. The truth is, I want my robot to be somewhat chill. If the car needs somebody to take over and be aggressive, well, I got that in spades. I can do that. Looks like we're going to go all the way down and then circle back. Okay, cool. If I had the lane changes on, because I have my max up to 70 and we're only going 62, this car would absolutely jump in the fast lane and go. But it would still only go to 70. The reason I don't want it to do that is because these guys are all going 75 to 80, and they would catch up to me fast and be really annoyed that I'm just in the fast lane, not speeding up. And if you're in FSD, like I said, you can use the accelerator and nudge it along, but if you go over 80, it shuts itself off and you get a warning, and it won't work again until you put it in park. So I am not going to do that. I am going to let this car just chill. This person behind me is like darting in and out lanes trying to get ahead. They were in the fast lane. They jumped over here. They ended up like 3 cars behind where they were. I don't know what to say. I'm happy to drive faster if the person in front of me goes faster, but I'm also pretty chill to go this speed if that's where he wants to go too. Driving really, really slow. I may have to intervene and just get ahead of them. We'll see. Traffic is definitely piling up behind us because this person up here is driving 54 and a 65. And it's not really bothering me, I guess. There's no reason to take over. Let's go. Bump it up to 77, 78. Not going to touch that 80 miles per hour and get dinged. But let's see if we can go ahead and get ahead of some people. That's our fender up to the guy in the gray. Looks like he sped up a little bit at this point. I go, the more nervous I do feel with it. At the end of the day, it is a robot. And neural networks are not always predictable in how they will respond to things. The fact that they're not predictable. So, all right, so solid. I'm gonna go ahead and get back over, get out of the fast lane, let everybody else start cruising. I'll bump my speed back down. What's your guys' opinion on the Cybertruck? You guys like it? Hate it? What's kind of your take on it? I already told you I like it. My wife, she hates it. She loathes the day that she has to see a Cybertruck parked in the driveway. That's what it is. So it should be thinking about getting over pretty soon. I'm going to give it the blinker and kind of get it to slow down behind this guy, and then it should get over. I was worried if I didn't give it the blinker and try to let it know that it's getting close, that the guy behind him would have filled the gap, and then it would have been really hard to get over. So I just gave it the blinker, let it do the navigation. Coming up to our exit here. Let's see how it handles this. It needs to coming in. It needs to start thinking about getting over. There you go. It's a little unnerving the way it kind of slides into the curve like that. The guy behind me is being a little obnoxious, but he'll chill. There's 2 lanes here. He can pass me if he needs to. He probably won't pass me. I'm being cautious, but I am trying to let the car do the navigation. Yeah, go ahead and pass me. You'll feel better once you pass me. I'll feel better once you pass me. Trying to give it a little nudge to go a little faster. I'm going to give us an accelerator here. Not much, just a little bit. There's a person behind me is why I'm doing that. I drive through here all the time. Nobody even thinks what the speed limit is. They're just kind of staying with the flow of traffic. So I try to do the same, even when I'm in FSD. Alright, coming around this corner, we're going to have to merge into traffic that can sometimes be moving pretty quickly. So let's see how we do. Always ready to take over if necessary. Looks like it's going to be good. It's managing the car in front of us. Slowing down a little too much. Sorry, there's a cop pulling out in front of me too, so that means people will be patient and early. Say this, you realize how bad human drivers really are with bouncing around in the lanes when you're in FSD, because your car just stays right in the center and people like will bounce right up next to you all the time. It is what it is. Too much more complicated on the drive. It looks like it's going to head up through the college. Oh no, it's going to take the Winter Street exit. All right. Yeah. All right, so it won't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be too complicated going that route. We'll see how it handles it. This is a pretty main road where traffic's going pretty fast. So when we get up to this turn here, it needs to slow down, but not go too slow to make the turn to be human-like. We'll see how it does. Again, if it needs a little accelerator, I have a right foot that works, and so I will use it. So far, this has been a pretty impressive drive, though. I would argue that we got all the way to the airport with zero intervention, other than a little bit of accelerator. On the way back, there was one legit intervention where I actually took it out of FSD for a second and had to cross the lines to make sure I didn't miss my exit. You consider we've probably been shooting for, looks like 60 minutes or so, hour and 10 minutes. One intervention in an hour and 10 minutes, that's really not very bad, to be honest. And had I not intervened, it would have taken the wrong exit. It would have rerouted itself and figured it out and still got me home. I probably should have let it do it just to let it go. It wouldn't have caused a wreck or gotten in a wreck. That much I'm sure of. I am getting hungry for some lunch. I hope my wife is ready to go when I get there, because I'm ready to go. This guy is tailgating up on my butt. He's going to be unhappy about this, but I have to make this turn up here. We're not going to do that. We're going to do Maynard. That's right, buddy. Show your blinker so people know what we're doing. Alright, coming in. Don't slam on the brakes here. There we go. Giving it a little accelerator right here, just to make it kind of nudge forward. The person behind me was very annoyed that I was slowing down that much for the turn. You know, some of that people just got to get over it. That guy was moving along. Alright, so we're going to chill. We got traffic coming. This is an interesting area. We have to get across this. We're going over here. We got traffic coming. You can see how much the car sees. It sees the traffic way down there. you guys can't really see it, but it's a railroad track here, so cars are coming over it. Can't go. There's a van. My foot is hovering over the brake at all times right now. All right, car, you got this. Gets a little confused here, but figured it out. Figured it out. All right. Looks like we got another Tesla Model 3 right here. All right, we got a couple cars parked on the side, so the car needs to, you know, go around them. It will. Nothing to it. What's the problem? I don't understand the problem there. Car just wanted to beep at me. I didn't really have to intervene. Those alerts sometimes scare the shit out of you, though. Which I guess is the point of them. They want to make sure you're paying attention. All right, guys. People parked out on the road up here. Car's really creeping slow right here. Didn't want to run into the bushes. All right. And that was a trip to the airport and back. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty impressed with that drive. Like, we made it to Boston Logan Airport, basically with no interventions, and got pretty much all the way back with only one intervention. So, cheers. Thanks, guys.